Now, the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal has announced that the National School Nutrition Program tender awarded to Pacina Retail has been terminated. This comes after the company failed to deliver much-needed food to 5,000 schools in KZN. Pacina Retail has left pupils with empty stomachs for the last 2 weeks. There's been an outcry that the Provincial Education Department awarded the tender to someone who is politically affiliated. Let's go to our reporter Lethiwe Mdluli, who joins us now from Durban to give us an update. She attended that particular briefing. Lethiwe, this, of course, embarrassing the ANC in KZN, and I wonder why they had to hold this press briefing and why we were not necessarily told only by the Department of Education in that particular province. But just give us more details around their reasoning for the cancellation or termination of the contract.
Well, Maseko, the SG here in KwaZulu-Natal, Mdluli, just basically elaborated why the ANC called this media briefing. It's been a very long briefing because there were so many questions from the media in the Department of Education's decision to award the tender to Pacina Retail. And basically what the ANC is saying is that even though they do not micromanage government in the province, they saw it fit that they call this briefing and give an explanation as to what is currently happening. They are saying that they've had talks with the MEC for Education, Bali Fraser, and in those talks, it was decided that the service provider, Pacina Retail, that was awarded this tender will have to, or the contract will have to be terminated. They are saying that that process is underway. About a week ago, the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal did release a statement saying that they've noted the crisis, and they called the crisis a hiccup that would be fixed by the Department of Education. But over the past week or so, the issue has not been fixed, and we have been visiting a few schools, Maseko, over the past 2 weeks or so, where we were talking to service providers or former service providers who used to provide food to the schools, and they were updating us on the crisis, saying that a lot of schools are still without food. We also spoke to principals, and we spoke to learners as well when we were visiting these schools. We went to the South Coast, we went to eThekwini, and majority of the schools were complaining about this service provider. And I think one question that remained throughout this whole thing is why did the Department of Education in the province want to do away with a system that was working, that did not have so many problems prior to them changing the system? Why did they want to change it and award the tender, which is about 2 billion rand, to one service provider? We spoke to also opposition parties who made allegations that the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal awarded this tender because, to someone who was affiliated or closely affiliated to the ANC. We posed these questions to Mdluli today during the briefing, and they are saying that this is not true, and this is why they saw it fit to have this media briefing. Unfortunately, the Department of Education or the MEC was not part of this briefing. We would have liked to pose a few questions, because the last time we spoke to the MEC, they did say that there was an investigation and there was a process that they needed to follow before they decide whether they're going to terminate the contract or not. I think a lot of people also have been asking as to why has it taken so long for the Department of Education to act, because of course the service provider failed to deliver the one mandate that they had, which is food to the schools. And in talking to the HOD for the Department of Education during the time where they were at the KZN legislature, he did say that there is an investigation. We've also heard from the Office of the Premier as well, Nomusa Dubengube, saying that they are going to be probing the situation. We've also asked whether anyone is going to be facing any criminal matters. We understand that the tender has been terminated, but is there anyone who's going to face the law because they failed to deliver the most important thing? And Mdluli did say that for now there are no criminal charges that have been laid, but they will find out from the investigations that are still ongoing, and then once that investigation is done, if there's any wrongdoing, they will then decide whether they will be laying criminal charges. But a bit earlier on, when Mdluli was giving that briefing and basically announcing that the contract has been terminated, this is what he had to say.
In particular, we've also noted the submissions from the African National Congress Youth League and the Congress of South African Students, COSAS. Following from the above, the ANC has met with the ANC deployee, MEC Bali Fraser, to go through submissions from the people of this province. She also gave us a feedback based on her assessment of the rollout of the program during visits to a number of schools. After the submission from the MEC, we have agreed that it is evident that the program is near to a total collapse and drastic measures must be taken. This program is not an act of charity, but a bold step to achieve social justice for the most vulnerable in our society. Therefore, the ANC has evaluated all relevant material facts. It has come to a determination that there are serious breaches resulting in the nullity of the National Schools nutrition program. The ANC has therefore directed its government to take urgent remedial action to restore the program that will result in schools getting all the necessary food items based on specified menu for all 5 days in a week. These remedial action must include but not limited to the following: that the current contract must be terminated immediately within the framework of the service level agreement, that the department must approach the High Court on urgent basis, seeking that this termination be made an order of the court.
So let's say we're understanding that the link with the ANC is obviously around Pacina Retail owner and his affiliation to the ruling party itself. But you're saying that the department wasn't part of this particular briefing. And they have been quite mum in terms of speaking. The MEC has only ever spoken really when she delivered her budget vote. So can one look at this, if you had to analyze, as the MEC not being available to answer to the difficult questions around this, the mistake that her department has clearly made?
Well, Maseko, it is quite concerning that the department opted not to be forthcoming in answering any of the questions that we've had for them. You're quite correct. The only time that we've had a chance to speak to the MEC Mbali Fraser was when she was delivering her budget. During this whole time, when we do have follow-up questions regarding this particular issue, the department has failed to answer any of our questions or even get back to us as to when they will hold maybe a media briefing. But what we do know is that the Minister for Education, NG Motsecha, has instructed the MEC to look into this matter. The department is also saying that they are having conversations between the Minister and the MEC to just basically find out why the department did away with the old system and they chose to centralize this whole thing. They are saying that, or the National Department of Basic Education did say that once the investigations into this matter have been concluded, they will then be able to provide some answers. But of course, in trying to get a response from the Department of Education here in the province, it's been very, very hard. They are not very forthcoming with any information regarding why they awarded the service provider the multi-billion rand tender.
All right, Lethiwe Mdluli live for us outside the head offices of the ANC in KZN. Let's leave it there for now.